Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video from inside the Eve Echo's final test. Today we're looking at another one of the Angel Cartel faction ships, though this time it is the cruiser, the CYNABAL. Now before we jump in, if you do enjoy this video, let me know by hitting like on it, consider subscribing to the channel for all things Eve Echoes, and of course ding that notification bell to know when the next video goes live the moment that it does. If there's a particular ship you'd like to see me talk about, a particular topic you want covered, or a question you'd like answered, let me know in the comment section down below, or come find me on social media and the Cartel Discord. The Discord has some public channels which are full of very friendly folk who are more than happy to talk all things Eve Echoes and will help out in any way they can. Speaking of help, if you do want to go the extra mile to help support this channel, you can do so by joining me on Patreon. Every single pledge, every dollar, really does make a massive difference to me, so thank you so much to everyone who does go that extra mile for the support. It really, really is super welcome. Thank you so much. So today, let's have a look at the Angel Cartel CYNABAL. Now, this was made by Alex the Master, and I have absolutely no real skills in it, or rather, I'm missing the key skill, because in this final test, I focused on, of course, my frigates, as I always do, but I've also taken the opportunity to have a look at battle cruisers and battleships, something that I won't really get much chance to do for a long time once the game hits live, which is why there's been a few sort of battleship and battlecruiser videos cropping up on the channel. Now, basically, if we have a look at the CYNABAL itself, it's got one drone tube, 5 high slots, 3 mids, 5 lows, and 3 of each of the rig slots. Being an Angel Cartel ship, it has the roll bonus of plus 50% warp speed and 50% warp acceleration, with a 5-second increase to the damage control activation time, which means the damage control unit does last 5 seconds longer on this thing. Now, for every tier of advanced medium cannon operation that you have, that's a 7.5% increase in medium cannon damage and a 5% reduction in medium cannon activation time. At the full 5 tiers, that's therefore 37.5% additional medium cannon damage and 25% reduction in the activation time, which is a significant DPS boost. That is the skill that I'm missing, and I do not have enough skill points to jump into that at this point in the beta, so which is why my numbers are slightly off, and I will show you later on with a screenshot overlay how high Alex has managed to get his by having that skill fully trained. And you'll see it is quite a big difference. I've said before, skills don't really matter in Eve Echoes. They don't, in the sense they don't matter as much as they did in Eve Online. That said, if you want to fly a ship like this that has a particular bonus for skills like built into the ship itself, like this one has the advanced medium cannon operation, that will make a huge difference to have trained. You've seen actually on in some of the other videos I've covered, there is one where I train up a skill live, and you see that it does actually rocket my damage up by about 400 DPS. Now, the second skill point here is in Advanced Cruiser Command, which I do have. That gives an additional 7.5% medium cannon tracking speed and medium cannon accuracy fall off, so obviously 37.5% on each of those as well, which is a fairly big boost. Stat-wise, for a cruiser, this is a middling sort of flight velocity baked in, with a decent warp speed of 3 AU. Of course, that is actually 4.5 AU standard with the CYNABAL, thanks to its faction roll bonus. Otherwise, stats are pretty much what you would expect off a cruiser. Now, with the fitting that Alex has put on here, and with the skills that I have, this cranks out a cold defense of 23,232, so 23,232. This is, you can actually shield or armor tank this, but considering we're based in Minmatar space, and thus shield boosters and extenders are a little bit better, and in fairness, in the final test, shield tanking just has been a bit more reliable. I would still stick with the shield options there. You can see there 5,781 on the shield hit points, some decent resistances there thanks to the damage control unit, which of course, with that roll bonus, Alex has included. DPS, without the proper skill, as I said, I am missing the advanced medium cannon operation skill. I only have that up to medium cannon operation 5, I don't have it as advanced. I don't have the full skills there, so this is slightly lower than it can be, but I've got a nice cold DPS there of 777.78, and that is achieved with 5 of these Gistum C-type medium autocannons. Now, I mentioned in my Dramiel video, I wasn't entirely sure where those came from. I have since been informed that those came out of a Gistum dead space anomaly. which we managed to get spawn. That's where we got most of our Angel Cartel cores from, and a lot of really nice gear out of those. These are fantastic auto cannons. Single hit damage of 489, optimal range of 2.64 kilometers, which drops off gradually with an accuracy fall of 11.87. That's just the baked in. Good tracking speed for a medium turret. That is really good tracking speed. And an activation time of 3.2 seconds means these things fire frequently. They are fast firing turrets. For the mid slots, Alex has decided to put in 2 stasis webifiers, even though they're only Mark 3s, 2 Mark 3 and a Mark 5. A Mark 3 and a Mark 5 is better than a single Mark 9, so going for the 2, he's done that there to get that additional flight velocity adjustment. You can see it's minus 51 for the Mark 5, and an additional 47 for the stasis webifier, the Mark 3 one. I'm not entirely sure if that works in a direct stack, as in 47% and 51% is 98%. I get a sneaky suspicion that it's half and half. So if you put the the Mark 5 on first, it'll drop them by 51%. Then if you put this one on second, it will drop their then speed by an additional 47%. So if they go down from, say, 100 meters per second, you drop them down to 50 with the first one. This second one will take them down to around about 25. I have a feeling it's that way. Again, people can correct me in the comments. A Mark 5 Warp Disruptor adds a bit of tackle onto this ship, stops your prey from getting away. This is a great PvP cruiser. That's how you're going to stop your crew from running, your prey from running away. And of course, it does have drones. Now, Alex has decided to put a Mark 5 Valkyrie in here. Obviously, this is for cruiser hunting and other sort of ships of a similar size. You can also fill your drone bay with, say, like the smaller ones, like warriors and hobgoblins as well. Very useful in case things like hounds, stealth bombers, frigates, destroyers, that kind of thing get up close and personal, and your turrets may struggle to track those. Although with 2 webifiers, I don't think so. I think it is a case that ultimately I would stick, like Alex has, with the mediums, but you could put smalls in there as well, just to have a bit of an easier time against any small ships that come your way as well. Now for the low slots, he's put in a Republic Fleet Gyro Stabilizer times 2. That is a straight up increase to the DPS of the ship. It just ups cannon damage, and whether that's strike cannons or, in this case, auto cannons. Even cold, it gives an increase to the DPS that can be activated for a whopping boost to the DPS, and I'll showcase that in just a moment. Then across on the other side, he's gone for a Mark 9 Adaptive Invulnerability Field module and a Federation Navy Damage Control. And I'm so jealous of a Federation Navy Damage Control. That's an insanely expensive unit at the moment in the game, at a very rare drop. What that does, as you can see, is that gives ups the resistance on all of the shields, armor, and structure across the board, and when activated, which this has the bonus to get the bonus 5 seconds activation time, goes from 13 seconds to 18 seconds. Means that those resistances shoot up by an additional 800%, which means this thing takes no damage pretty much for 18 seconds when that's activated. It's basically your big red panic button. Finally, because this is a cruiser and has a fairly slow, just basic maneuverability speed, here we've got a Federation Navy medium afterburner, which is just there to give us a really nice flight velocity adjustment, kicks it out a little bit faster, gives you that chance to move. Now, of course, when training for a ship like this, you are going to want to go into, of course, the Advanced Medium Cannon Operation and Advanced Cruiser Command, but of course, let's have a look at skills as well, and you'll see how I've not trained into those properly. So here we are under the Advanced Medium Cannon Operation. I do have that one. Medium Cannon Operation and Advanced Medium Cannon Operation. Medium Cannon Upgrade, I've got trained up there as well. That's well worth going into. If you're going into cruisers, obviously Minmatar cruisers with the cannons, if you're going to be using medium cannon turrets, you do want to go into Medium Cannon Operation. That just gives you straight up 20% damage and a 10% tracking speed increase. Medium Cannon Upgrade gives you 15% damage, 15% accuracy fall off, and 10% optimal range. Just makes your guns longer range. Now, the skill that I am missing, which Alex I know has trained up here, is the Advanced Cruiser Command. Now, this skill here, on its own, doesn't really seem to do much. 10% additional flight velocity and a reduction of 10% on the inertia modifier, which means it stops faster, it starts faster, and it swings faster. The main reason for having that, though, is, of course, on the CYNABAL to get that bonus at the bottom here, 7.5% medium tracking speed, 7.5% medium cannon accuracy fall-off. So ultimately, that's the skill I'm missing. So DPS-wise, actually, I'm probably not doing too badly in comparison to Alex. I'll undock this in just a moment, activate it, and see what its heated DPS and statistics look like there as well. Okay, so that said and done, let us actually do that undock and have a little look-see at how this operates. Oh no, before we do so, I've forgotten to talk about rigs, which are a big part of this as well. So with rigs, Alex has gone for an unusual mix. It's slightly different to the build I would go for. He's gone for a cannon burst aerator for the activation time adjustment, so the turrets fire that little bit faster, and he's done 2 of those. Okay, I would have gone for 1 cannon burst aerator 2 and 1 of the collision accelerators, just to get a flat damage boost, because having 2 of these does give a penalty, so that second one won't be giving a full 10%. The first one will give 10%, the second one will give like 5 to 7%. Based on how many of those you have. Its third slot is an anti-EM screen reinforcer, which is a very unusual choice. 35% increase to electromagnetic shield resistance, which means obviously if you're firing against lasers, like if you're going up against Mars ships, that means your shields are actually going to absorb that a lot more. Very nice if you know that you're going to be going up against someone with that kind of target, but for the most part, I've not seen many people flying laser ships at the moment in the final test. It's a bit of a weird choice. For the low rigs as well, I'm very confused as to why he's gone for capacitor control circuits across the board here with a semiconductor memory cell at the end, because looking at this, the power grid is pretty good without it. Like, I don't think he needed those. The capacitor, I don't know if it's stable without that. I assume it actually is, in fairness. Although, in fairness, there are quite a few E-War modules, so that might have been put in to stabilize with the capacitor control circuit there. I'm not entirely certain, but certainly the semiconductor memory cell I don't see really as... I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't see a need for those low rigs, and in the high rigs, I would have gone much more straight into a variety there. Probably a bit of accuracy fall off, a straight up damage from the from the collision accelerator, and then yes, I would have gone for the burst aerator at the last one. So burst aerator, collision accelerator, and I think it's ambit for the third one there. Anyway, let's actually undock this and have a little look-see about how this works when you start heating up those modules and see how those statistics change. Because, I mean, let's be honest, 777 DPS alone is not bad. For a cruiser-type ship, that's not bad at all. In fact, that's kind of scary. And, oh, I've let that be a mess. Tidy that up. I don't like having all my modules all over the place like that. I like a little bit of tidiness. Okay, so... we're out here in space. I'm just going to check if it is fairly safe. Yep, no unidentified flying capsuleers around at the moment. Gonzo in a magnet. Oh, the temptation. So let's have a look at the fittings as they currently stand. We're looking at 777 DPS, and we're looking at 23,232, and I love that that's 23232 there on the defensive with 365 meters per second speed. Now, let's activate everything. Nothing in the low slots. Yes, they are. Let's move those up as well. Okay, so now let's activate everything. There's the shield, the damage control unit, the gyro stabilizers, and the afterburner. So now if we go across, that DPS has rocketed up by nearly 500 to 1204.95. The defense has shot up by more than 50,000. That's temporary, of course. And the navigation speed as well has gone up by 600. That's what this thing can do when you heat all of those modules in one go to give a nice big kick out the door. As I said, obviously that DPS only lasts as long as the gyro stabilizers are active. The defense of 71,000, which is terrifying. I've got to fight this thing later. That 71,000 defense is mainly based on the damage control unit being active and the adaptive shield. The adaptive invulnerability field, and the navigation is of course based on the afterburner staying active. So now that everything here is on cooldown, if I jump back in, you'll see it has returned to its natural 26,000, so it's slightly above, thanks to the shield going. But the offensive DPS has dropped down, and that shield's just going to keep going, so we can keep that going. I'm going to switch that off for now, though. Anyway, so today I thought things would be a little bit different. As we're coming towards the end of this final test, it's not so much fun for me just to take a ship out into a cosmic anomaly and showcase this thing in action, especially since most of them are like 3s or 9s. This thing can probably handle 9s, but I'm not going to risk Alex's ship. Instead, he's challenged me to a fight Basically, like we had the Worm versus his Omen Navy issue back in the OBT, he's challenged me to a fight frigate versus frigate, destroyer versus destroyer, cruiser versus cruiser, and battle cruiser versus battle cruiser, and I get a sneaky suspicion that this is going to be his cruiser of choice, so you'll get to see it in action then, and I'm going to put that as the end of this video to showcase how a CYNABAL actually works when it's out in space. Anyway, folks, let's jump across to that now. And we're getting the countdown now to warp in, so I'm going to try and get a little bit of range, about 13 kilometers, getting ready for that warp. And there comes the warp. In we go now. And, well, I guess we'll find out what Alex is flying. I'm pretty certain it is going to be his CYNABAL. And let's see how I manage to do against it. So here I am at our meeting point. I appear to be the first person here, so I can drop the drone out. There's Alex. See if I can get the lock in place quickly. Hammer that lock button. Get the orbit in position. Start firing. And open up with all those gyro stabilizers as well. Let's get the Nosferatu on. See what kind of damage I can put into place. Shield extender. This is already not going in my favour. As you can see, Alex's shield just doesn't want to go down. Mine's taking some real heavy damage. This is not going well for me at all. Oh no! And we're straight into armor already. Oh, you can see I'm doing as much damage as I can do. It's only 153 per hit, though. Really not much in any way, shape, or form. Right down to hull, and oh! Ow. Ow. That CYNABAL hurt. I'm really not sure what to say about that. I'm space wreckage. I'm literal space wreckage. That was that was painful. But there we have it. Alex the Master in a CYNABAL, absolutely wrecking my my fully kitted out fleet issue stabber. Oh, that's almost sad how quickly that one went. Oh well, back to station I go then. Ah, there we are. So that's the CYNABAL, I think. The CYNABAL definitely wins that one quite comfortably. The Thrasher Navy issue, the Stabber Navy issue. I liked that ship, but my goodness, that didn't last long at all. Anyway, folks, thank you ever so much for watching. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.